Very good afternoon to everybody. Today we are going to speak about statistics chapter, that is chapter number 8. This is one of the important chapter in the 10th standard Samacheer board exam. They will ask these type of problems and everything. So for that, for learning about the statistics problem and everything, for that we need to know this basic formula. If we are knowing about this basic formula, then only it will be better for you to solve the problems. First, in the statistics, what do you mean by about statistics? Statistics means we need to know how the largest value and the smallest value will be defined, and what would be the variance, and how it would be occupied, and how we are calculating the differences with assumed value and the value of x. So by this only the statistics would be, we are calculating the statistics. So first, formula is for range. What is the formula? L minus S. L means what? L means largest value. S means smallest value. Coefficient of range. If they are asking to find out the range in the statistics, you need to know about the process of the question, how they are asking the question, and for the question how we need to reply it. By that you need to know. If they are asking the coefficient of range means L minus S by L plus S. Next, variance. Variance is, this is the symbol, variance square, standard deviation square. So variance is, what is the formula? Sigma x n I equal to 1 xi minus x bar whole square by n. This is the formula for the variance. Xi minus x bar whole square by n. This is the value. So n, small n we need to mention it. N. Xi minus x bar whole square by n. So in this, statistics means many data will be there. If you learn this type of concept, by this you can able to achieve in a higher degree whatever the problems you are learning. Those problems would be very much easier, and if it is a functionality or a complex basis also, you can easily able to learn. So this is what about the ungrouped data, grouped data. There are two types of things, data are there. Ungrouped data means how the formula we need to solve it, and grouped data means how we need to solve the formula. So first, here also three methods are there. Under the ungrouped data, mean method, assumed mean method, step deviation method. So mean method means, first, what is the formula for the mean method? Standard deviation equal to square root sigma xi square by n. Sigma xi square by n. So this is what about the formula. Sorry, 1 second. Sigma di square by n. So here, next thing, for the mean method in grouped data, what would be the difference? Likewise, standard deviation equal to square root. Here sigma di square by n. Likewise, the same sigma you need to mention it. Instead of here di, you need to mention the same di square by Fi, here Fi, fi dA square by capital N. This is the standard, this is the formula for the mean method. The next one, for the assumed mean method, what we are going to do? For the assumed mean method, sigma dA square by N minus sigma dA by N whole square. Likewise, here for the grouped data, in the assumed mean method, what we are going to do? Standard deviation. Here sigma dA square by N minus sigma dA by N whole square. Here what we need to do? Sigma fi dA square root sigma fi dA square by N, capital N. Here small n we are mentioning, here capital N, minus sigma fi dA by N whole square. This is what the difference. Assumed mean method means here square root sigma dA square by N minus within the bracket sigma dA by N whole square we need to mention it. Likewise, under the grouped data in the assumed mean method, what we need to mention? Sigma fi dA square. Here we need to multiply with fi. Here also we need to multiply with fi. So likewise only we need to solve it for assumed mean method. Next, for step deviation method, sigma dA square by N minus sigma dA by N whole square into small c we need to mention it. This is what about the step deviation method. What do you mean by about di? Di equal to xi minus a. X value a is assumed mean method. The next one is for step deviation method in grouped data. For step deviation method, standard deviation, the same thing we need to mention it here, and into c we need to mention it. Sigma fi dA square by N minus fi dA square dA by whole square into c. Next one, direct method. What we are going to write it? Direct method is sigma xi square by N minus sigma xi by N whole square. For direct method. For coefficient of variation, how we are going to solve? Variance, standard deviation by x bar into 100. X bar means what? It is a mean. Think this one is what is the value? This one is said to be as standard deviation. This is what the formula which we need to read in statistics chapter. And if you read this entire formula, we can able to solve easily. So this is what about the problem. First one is range, largest minus smallest value. Coefficient of range is how we need to remember? The same value we need to mention it here, and in the denominator instead of minus we need to mention it as plus. Variance, it is a square equal to, if like this symbol without square means it is said to be as standard deviation. If it is square means it is said to be as variance. Xi minus x bar whole square by N. Ungrouped data. There are two types of data are there. One is ungrouped data and another one is grouped data. In the ungrouped data, mean method, standard deviation, assumed mean method, assumed mean method, standard step deviation method. Mean method, assumed mean method, standard deviation method. Mean method. square root sigma dA square by n. Sigma dA square by n. Here how we are going to do in mean method? Square root sigma, here dA square by n means here multiply by fi. So fi dA square by n. Next one is assumed mean method means square root the same whatever it's been there you need to write it here and minus within bracket sigma dA by n whole square. Here how we are going to write? The same thing we need to write it here minus within bracket sigma fi dA by n whole square. Step deviation method. The same thing whatever it's been there in the assumed mean method, that one you need to write it here into C. For here for the grouped data step deviation method, whatever it's been there in the assumed mean method, you need to write it here. So how you need to remember? You need to write this is MAS, like this you need to remember it. How you need to remember? Madras, short form MAS. So MAS, likewise you need to remember mean method, assumed method, step deviation method. So into C, here into C. This is what about the shortcut and you need to remember it. That's all about today. Next class we can see about the problems.